middle school, and all are present except for Nancy, who is excused. So the meeting is open. First on our agenda is approval of the minutes. And do we have minutes?
We have January 8th minutes. I revised the agenda for the second time and withdrew the 21st minutes. And the 8th are attached.
Oh, thank you. I do not see minutes. Any comments on the minutes?
Move to be approved as read.
Oh, yes, they're there. Is there a second for approval?
A second.
All those in favor, aye? Aye. Any nays? No nays? The minutes are approved. Okay, for January 8th meeting. And John, anything new on school?
Well, I really don't have anything new, but I'm going to kind of reiterate where we are. I've been working on a presentation to go before the city commission. We will take a copy of the review booklet to each commissioner and to each school board member well prior to the meeting with them. We will go before the city commission at 6 p.m. on the evening of the 25th of this month. Charlie Douglas will be there, and he indicated one of his associates, a lady, he gave her name, but I did not get it. But anyway, the two of them will be here on the 25th to present the contract and answer questions regarding the contract. The plan is to have a PowerPoint presentation regarding my remarks and Charlie's remarks in support of our main points. We'll be inviting several other people to join us in support of the school project as speakers, and many others in general support. We look forward to the meeting with the city commission, and we look forward to them approving the contract that we will present to them. The next step will be going before the district school board on March the 4th, asking them to give us the property. Charlie Douglas will make that presentation. This will complete part one of our mission.
And John, her name is Lisa Miles.
Say it again.
Her name is Lisa Miles. That's the associate.
Lisa Miles, okay.
I just didn't check my email.
Is there a time set for the school board meeting?
Not yet. He's gonna call and verify. Check on
I
that.
don't know that I know the time.
They didn't give us, I don't think they gave us a time. That's
I'm
what-
gonna talk to the superintendent tomorrow. I'll find that out.
Well, we
Just
suggest the time.
confirm the 4th, of course.
Yes.
I don't know when they normally have school board meetings. I think it's like at 2 or 4. Do you know the time, Ron? Do they have school board meetings?
Yeah, well, it's twice a month.
All right. Do you know what time of day it is though? Is it like 2 o'clock or something? I thought it was something in the afternoon, I think, like 2 or 4. I don't remember. I can check. Well, I would assume it would be at their normal time.
And this will be a meeting just for us. It'll be like
A special meeting. Yeah.
What was the date of that meeting?
The 4th of
March
March.
the 4th.
Yeah.
Any further comments? Thank you. Moving on to town opinion report.
I don't have anything to add on that. We, just, you guys have distributed it, we've looked at it, used it to put together the booklets or the binders that you guys have, so, it's done. Have we gotten a bill for that from all the time, you know?
I'm not aware of any yet.
Yeah, I was wondering, I need to message him. I need to email him and see if he sends a bill.
Shall we continue as a agenda item, or?
I don't think so. I mean, we've gotten it, we've disseminated it, reviewed it. I think it's, pretty done.
Yeah, I agree, everyone agree?
Yes.
So Melanie, we can eliminate that in the next agenda, and, we bring it up under old business. REG report. Michael, any updates?
Now, they were here a couple weeks ago to do their building inspections. They put together the 3D viewing and so on, and I think that was sent out to you. We don't have a report yet back from that inspection a couple weeks ago. As soon as we do, we'll send it out to you.
And I did, Brian Laura from REG had asked for any construction documents or plans or anything, and I did get one roll of construction documents for the cafeteria redo, and I UPS'd that to him last week, so he should have that. I need to check with him today, but it was a huge roll. I actually had to tear some of them off because I couldn't find a tube big enough to hold them, but it was also, but I sent it down to him, so that was the only building that Travis Woods, the facilities director, says he can find, which is unfortunate. I wish we had at least the documents for the building 15, that classroom building that they built. I don't know why they don't, because that's the most recent thing constructed, but I did send those to Brian, so they can use that to help do the report, which is helpful because if you notice on the scanning, the 3D sketches that they gave us, for some reason they didn't do the inside of the cafeteria and kitchen. I don't know if they could get in there or if there was stuff in there, because when they did the 3D scanning, you know, if there's, remember when we went over there for a tour, they were storing boxes and supplies and stuff, so I don't know if there was too much stuff in there for them to scan. But now they have the plans that show where the walls are and where the appliances and everything were, so that should help them finish their plans.
So will they scan it?
I assume that's what they'll do that to help finish that part of their construction or the drawings that they're doing.
Because when we toured it, it was pretty much empty.
Well, there was some stuff in the corner. I don't know why
Hardly anything.
I don't know but if you,
Whatever.
yeah.
The other thing is that, one of their files that they sent us in 3D, we couldn't,
Print.
print.
Is it the 3D sketches? Like
I believe so. Did you have a printing?
I have not tried to print it, but I mean, I can try. At home. But is it just error, was it just an error? Did they give you an error or did it just not? I don't think they.
It just wouldn't work, so, if you can't print it,
Yeah.
I suggest we just simply contact them and ask them to do it, to set it in a PDF file instead of JPEG.
Okay.
Anything else on REG? Moving on to old business, we now each have our blue binder. And so I'd like to open up comments on it. Any suggestions or comments?
Well, I think it's going to be a great tool that's going to help us get through this process, especially the executive review. We need to get this in the hands of people, and I think when we do this, we need to talk to each one and encourage them to really go through it, especially the executive review. what they're gonna hear from me is a lot of it comes from the executive review. And I'm gonna keep it positive, and the one subject that I'm gonna talk about is the contract. That's what the meeting is about.
Good.
And I'm gonna give a lot of supporting evidence of why that we think the school board is gonna give it to us. And, anyway, I think we're on the right track.
Yes, and I'm sure, John, you're gonna be very convincing,
No, that's putting a lot of confidence on that.
which we all have.
I'll work at it, and
Thank you, sir.
And I'm gonna review it with a few people, so we just wanna go in there cold.
How wise. Good. Kevin?
I was just going to suggest that the volume of this should go a long way toward dispelling any misgivings about the lack of productivity of the committee. If success is based on mass, this should go a long way.
And it supports our opinion that it should be not submitted piecemeal, but in one final report.
Yes.
It looks very voluminous, but a lot of the volume is accumulation of deeds and all of that, that supports the fact that, you know, it's not a saleable piece of property
Yes,
to
indeed,
anyone.
indeed.
And the one entity that can use it is the city, and can have title because of their experience of giving it. And all. Anyway, it's all in there, and we'll explain that as we go through it.
And I will add that, Nancy Taylor did send me, a few corrections that I made, to the executive overview. So I got her input, and, which is good, because I know that she's, a grammar Nazi like I am, so she catches all the little things, so.
Are we inviting RAG to be here for that meeting?
I don't know, we haven't talked to them about that. I don't know if they really need to be here, I don't know.
I don't know that they really need to be
I
here.
mean,
We're gonna use some of their.
their graphics, yeah.
I think we should have dialogue with them and entertain the idea, get their thoughts.
I need to touch base with Brian later today, so I'll mention that to him
Okay,
and see.
sure. So I have a few comments. I think this is a wonderful document. It's many pages. The executive briefing, I think is wonderful. However, as we all know, people don't like to read much today. They like a summary and they like a brief presentation. So with that, I suggest we do a 1 or 2 page introduction. And then with that, we follow it with a site map. And Michael has provided us with this excellent one. However, I think for this purpose, it would be helpful if we presented it as is. For instance, there's a butterfly garden, a sundial, for instance. There are suggested uses on the buildings, and I think it's best to state what they are now. I think the square footage is tremendous. It shows live oaks, but I also would number them as they are numbered now.
Do you have the numbers?
I think I did that. There's a red number in the lower right
I was, yeah,
corner of every
there's a-
building that's on the
I think
site.
there's a revised, he sent me a revised.
Yeah, you may not have the most
Yeah.
updated.
No, I haven't got
Yeah,
that, so that's terrific.
The numbers on there, yes. Because that does help a lot when we're talking about certain buildings. So I'll make sure that that's in there. And there is a draft already of an introduction, because there's there's a different introduction for the city than there is for the school board. Because obviously we're kind of pushing different points, or kind of emphasizing different things. So, but there will be another introduction, and I like the idea of putting the site plan in there, so.
And so obviously that brief introduction should just have a lot of meat to it. My next comment on the site map is, and I'm sorry, I haven't had a chance to compare, but are the existing numbers on the buildings now the same as REG used?
They are, except for one of them, I believe. Because I actually had them, or I suggested that they change the numbers of them, because they did have, like, what we call building 1 is like building 5. And I said, well, let's call it building 1 on your thing, so it refers to the same numbers that we use for the school district. So I think the only building that's not the same is the gymnasium. That was a different number. They were just doing the 5 buildings, they just numbered them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
So my suggestion there is that we just put in parentheses,
Okay.
the REG in their number, especially since it's just non.
So BJ, the last iteration I sent you with the red numbers on the buildings, those were what I acquired from a field survey. They're actually on there now.
Okay,
White background,
Right.
red letters on
Yeah.
each building, so that's what I based it on.
okay, that works. And I'll send you any other notes to get a final version of it.
If you want to send it back with some comments, I'll edit it and send it right back to you.
Thank you very much.
Next, as they say, a picture's worth 1,000 words. And I think that we have some, like this, that are, for us to know the site is easy, but I think that it's better if we do away with the highlights.
Okay.
Because I believe the buildings will be more pronounced.
Okay.
And lastly, we have a fine list of possibilities for each building and detail. I think in the beginning, we just do bullets and accumulate the many options that we have.
Okay.
And I think that where some could be a revenue source, we should indicate that.
Okay.
Any further comment?
Commissioner Norrie, do we have enough copies to get to the commissioners and? Okay.
Yes. I have boxes of binders. I just have to print out the front parts, so. I have a brand new printer and it's already been broken in. And it will use up the rest of its ink the next week.
Next, under old business, I'd like to speak about the Historic Resources Survey update. And everyone's got a copy of it. And I spoke to, I've been in communication with Paul Weber on getting together, and that's gonna be next week. This week he has deadlines and doctor's appointments to meet, so as soon as he lets me know, I'll get the word to the group. And I've given a further summary of how anxious the Historical Preservation Society is anxious, and how many wonderful families are still here that are anxious to be of help, that have been here for generations.
Yeah, I'm really excited about that survey, and I'm excited about them doing it because of him being in St. Augustine and also Jenny Wolf being involved because of her connections with the VHS and with the city. She really has they both have already a lot of experience with Crescent City, and they're both very enthusiastic.
They both are, you're right, they both are, bring a great wealth to it and a great experience. And a history with us in the past.
And the interesting thing too is that they are willing to help us revamp our historic preservation ordinance too, which if they can do that, it's just, to help us as a favor, that would be great, because what's really, would go a long way for us to get our historic preservation ordinance in order and become a CLG. So, the certified local government.
They also, will assist the city in grants.
Yes.
Which is wonderful.
Yes.
And they know the importance of the middle school.
Yes, and a lot of good information, and they're interesting.
They're definitely the right people to do this job, so I was very happy that they were awarded the contract.
And I also told them that, of course, whatever you need in volunteers to let us know. So anything further on the survey? Ron, do you have anything? Anyone else? Thank you. New business. Any new business to discuss today? Anyone from the audience?
Good morning. For the record, Danny Miller, I'd like to just offer a couple of general comments. As regards the dearth of construction documents, just want to reiterate previous comments that if they're not retrieved from the school, and certainly they exist, they're just buried in a dusty room somewhere, then that unfortunately put the city in the position of having to pay REG to generate them. Perhaps may want to push, send a team up and go through the dusty room, whatever it takes. One thing that I would suggest that can be requested from them now, and certainly as part of their maintenance effort, they would have it, is ask them for their equipment schedules for these buildings. Because MEP is something that REG is going to be zeroing in on, mechanical, electrical, and plumbing. And equipment schedules go a long way to kind of illuminate what's there. Moving on, as Dr. Jordan mentioned, the bulk of information is certainly proof positive of the good work that's been put in by the BRC. And hopefully they will be dazzled with the level of detail that is in there. Now, John had mentioned that really it's not saleable, and they should give it to the city. Certainly, there's a reluctance on the part of the city to put themselves and the taxpayers in a position of taking on tremendous expense. I'll address that in a minute. But one thing that might perhaps also be emphasized is, well, two things. And that is, what happens if the city does not approve it? You know, there's a distinct downside, I think, to inaction. One is that, and there's a price tag on that inaction. One is the building can't be sold. The school district won't want to continue to maintain it. It will just decay and become Central Academy. No one wants that, and that will have a decidedly detrimental effect upon the property values in Crescent City, particularly in that neighborhood, which will ultimately come out of the school district and the city's ad valorem tax bucket. So there's a price to be paid there. Also, a very significant one is generally recognized that when government offices relocate to there, that surpluses this property, and pick a number of the surplus property, what's it worth? That's tremendous, $1 million plus, certainly. That's $1 million that can be harvested that otherwise would not be. And then whoever winds up with it, back on the tax rolls, so on and so forth. So perhaps that angle may be, it's not a simple choice of we do it or we don't. If we don't, it's gonna cost a whole lot more than taking it
I
on.
have that in my talk, but I don't
Okay,
have
alright.
it in details, but, you know, it's financially advantageous to do this for the city.
Absolutely.
I mean, the school is not on the tax rolls now, and it won't be if they take it over, but this is not on the tax rolls either. And once this becomes in its highest and best use, and its highest and best use is not administrative office, it's commercial. This is a commercial area. You know, and it's nice to be visible. That's one thing the mayor has talked about. But to be practical and to have the city work financially is really, really important. So to me, it's a winning situation on both sides, and we need to convey that message.
My point exactly, and if they could just envision the school preserved, repurposed, and then the property across the street, the property on this side of the highway, redeveloped, it will transform this community economically, and enough said. And on the point of the understandable reluctance to put the city and the taxpayers in a financial bind, I've heard John mention that others would be joining in the presentation. I heard Paul from St. Augustine, I forgot the name of the company, I listened to the online meeting, and he offered, as I recall, to help with grants. I think you spoke to that, Commissioner Laurie. Perhaps both REG, who has significant grants experience, and Paul and Jenny Wolf, who both have significant grants experience, perhaps they could speak to that as part of the presentation and help to overcome a very understandable caution and reluctance on the part of the city commission.
Somebody else will have to invite them. I don't know them
Just a thought.
that well.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, obviously, this project will enrich the core of the city. It will be the cultural and entertainment center of our city, and the benefit of the surrounding area. And of course, this site is such a central point in the business district, especially with the light, the traffic count. It's a natural to have a business here. So, all very exciting. Anything else? Moving on to agenda. Any comments on the agenda? Next meeting date, when should we meet next?
Well, 2 weeks from today is the 18th. And that would be the 1 week, but until the city commission meeting, or a special meeting. So, we definitely need to meet at least then to review stuff, and obviously there'll be a lot of work that's gonna be done between now and then.
When is the date of the special meeting?
The 25th at 6 p.m. February 25th.
The date's in black, correct?
No, this is the meeting here.
25th,
Yeah, that's the meeting with the city
6
commission,
p.m.
special meeting.
It's on their big one.
And, so Commissioner Lori, do you recommend we meet in a week?
I mean, I don't want to overburden City Hall. I mean, we've been told that we're supposed to be meeting every 2 weeks. So,
Do you feel that it's important for us
I
to
mean,
meet in a week, or
we do
should
have a
we
lot,
go 2 weeks?
there's a lot going on. I mean, there's a lot that needs to be done. So I'm sure that we would be able to, I mean, it's up to Michael if that's okay.
So, I'm sorry, on the 18th,
You know, the city commission said that we should only meet every 2 weeks.
Uh-huh.
But we're getting close to that date on the 25th for that special meeting. And so we would pretty much like to meet next week, if that's possible.
The commission recognized that we could call a meeting
Yeah, if,
if necessary.
And this is kind of the crescendo here.
yeah, we're right, we're getting close to the end here. We're getting close to those days, so.
so what day would that be? That'd be
The 11th.
Yeah. In the morning, yeah.
Yeah.
That's doable.
Thank you. Melanie, I'll start with that.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
It's on the schedule, the 11th at 9.
Thank you.
Yeah. The 11th.
And I would like to point out, of course, we pride ourselves to be as efficient as possible. And as you can see, it's just past 9:30 and we're about to wrap up, so we are sensitive. Anything else today? Yes, Mr. Frank?
A question, are you planning to have like a mock presentation amongst yourselves before you walk into the city commissioners or the school board, so like you have like a practice presentation?
Yes.
So you can critique? what we
Yes,
came
Mr.
to show,
Duval,
should I say?
Yeah,
In
we
his
we're
report.
trying to do that, and we would invite you to come to that and critique what I say.
Okay, good. No, it's good just to have a
Yes.
first trial run.
Yes.
We're never found a place, we won't do it here. But you know,
We are planning on rehearsing.
Okay, good choice.
We got it.
Rehearsing, yeah.
So, sir, you are now on our list to attend.
Okay, it's just.
And thank you.
where and when.
We'll let you know. Anything else? Is there a motion to adjourn?
I so moved.
Second.
Second, all those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any nays, no nays? We are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, Kevin, if you would put that in, I'm not sure.